Hi, I'm Penny Dix AstroCoach and welcome to my YouTube channel. This month, for the month of May 2021, I'm using a slightly different format. I have changed the way I do your individual zodiac signs. So first of all, I'll be giving the general overview for the month of May 2021, and then each of the signs are going to be broken down into just 5 little areas, which are mind, what to focus on psychologically, body, how best to serve yourself physically, soul, what's happening deep within, also your challenges that you can expect this month, and the opportunities for you to make the most of. So I think this could be quite an interesting way to do it. And it might be that you want to keep a pen and paper when you're listening to your sign, so that you can make notes of anything that really truly resonates with you. And I would really appreciate if you did comment to say whether or not you like this new format. I really hope you do. I think it's going to work quite well. And remember to check out your ascendant as well as your zodiac sign. Very important. Which brings me on to another interesting development or surprise. I'm going to offer a special offer for the month of May, which is a 20-minute chat with me by either audio or video link for just €20. And this is so I can quickly set up your chart, give you your ascendant, where your moon is, and tell you the general areas that are most affected by the astrology of the current year. So that's a really nice, I think, opportunity if you would like to take that up. I've popped an email address into the description box as well, so you can email me directly to set up that chat. Okay, so now let's move on to the astrology for the month of May. Well, since April the 20th, the sun has been in the lovely earthy sign of Taurus, giving us a little bit of grounding. And I think we've all needed that a bit. And at the beginning of the month, the sun will be conjunct the planet Uranus, who, as I've mentioned before, can be a little bit like a bull in the china shop in the sign of Taurus. And with these two conjunct, we might find that the sun highlights unexpected developments which might continue to slow our progress, because they are both going to be squared by Saturn in Aquarius, and that's quite tough. So there may be a few days at the beginning of the month which are a little bit uncomfortable. But I think what this kind of opens up for us is that collectively and personally, we could experience some tough talk, maybe to ourselves, from ourselves to ourselves, with each other. And it's going to be about, I think, what we value and how best to move forward from what has been a very cold, long, difficult, challenging winter lockdown. I feel there's a sense of going back to basics. And if there's nothing else that we've learned from the last few months, then it should be that our value system will have benefited from the shake-up, or at least it should have done, and this kind of reality check that we've all had to face, and especially with regard to the planet and nature. You see, because Taurus season gets us back in touch with the earth and the seeds that are stirring beneath the ground. It's a time for us to look at what the planet has gained through the last year. Clearer air, less pollution. Plus, we may find we're also appreciating the beauty of nature in a much fuller way. Taurians are often gardeners. It's the sign of the gardener. And whichever sign you're born under, somewhere in your chart is Taurus, and it's being activated. And even if you've only got a few potted plants in a window box, or indoor plants or you may be lucky enough to have a balcony if you're in an apartment, or even a garden. How lovely is that? Then it's a good time to tune in to being more aware of the wonders of nature. I mean, how often do you observe a bee gathering pollen? Or the regimentation of a colony of ants? They're quite amazing things to observe. And these are the kind of Taurian, energetic ways that we can connect ourselves with the earth and to remind ourselves that we are an intrinsic part of this amazing ecological system. And the part we play certainly became highlighted during the pandemic in the terms of how we noticed less pollution, just to name but one thing. And so it is important that we collectively don't take our eye off the ball. Now, this square, which is a hard angle between Saturn and Uranus, so Saturn is in Aquarius and Uranus is in Taurus. That's going to be kind of tightening up this month, because next month it's like they're preparing to get into this hard square angle again in the middle of June. So this energy could bring up heated debates about ecology, or how to prevent or cope with man-made disasters, or even with natural disasters. I also think that the nuclear power debate may be back again on the agenda. The pivotal point for all of these things is really from May the 23rd, because Saturn at that point goes retrograde. And I'll just say a little bit about retrograde, because it doesn't actually mean that the planet stops and goes backwards. It's from our perspective on Earth. And so, you know, Saturn is still going around the sun, but it's like, as we observe it, because it's in a sense further away, it appears, as the Earth is moving, to be going backwards. But wherever these boys are located in your chart, they'll be tugging at that area of your life. And that'll be the area of your life that is most affected by this energy. You may have a sense of that already, because if you think about what's the biggest thing in your life at the moment, what's the most important area of your life that just seems to be constantly coming up and hitting you in the face again, that's probably where Uranus and Saturn are affecting it. Pluto is also retrograde. And so we've got both Pluto and Saturn retrograde, and they will be slowing down everything that's been going on, because for the first few months this year, we've seen things speed up a bit. And we went through the first 2 months, which were probably the most challenging. You'll be glad to hear of the whole year. And now things are just going to slow down again. It's a bit like we'll be going back over some old ground. We've also got a Mercury retrograde from the 29th. And that will give us a bit of breathing space to kind of retreat, regroup ourselves, check we've paid those bills. Did we renew that subscription we're meant to renew, or health insurance or whatever? But it's a chance to sort of just kind of go over those kind of, you know, difficult, challenging things and get them sorted. On the 21st, the sun will move into the air sign of Gemini. Gemini is all about, much more about our thinking, our local kind of locality. It's about communication. And I think we'll feel a bit lighter and perhaps able to move more easily with the changing tides that are happening at the moment. The sun is joined in Gemini by both Venus and Mercury. Now, Venus is about relationships. It can also be about value, because it can be about finance and money. And also Mercury is in Gemini. And remember, Mercury is going retrograde in Gemini at the end or towards the end of the month. But whilst it's going forward, I think our thinking could get sharper. We might find we're quite challenging in our discussions with people. But we need to watch out for Mars in Cancer. Mars drowns a bit in Cancer. It's not really the most comfortable place for it. And it's going to be making an aspect to Neptune in Pisces around the last week of the month. And we might find our emotions get a bit extreme. We might lash out. So I think we need to think before we speak or act and just take a step back until we can see things more clearly. It's not a long aspect, but it's just to be aware of it around that time. Now, finally, our other big boy that I haven't mentioned yet this month is Jupiter, our planet of luck and opportunity. And this lovely big boy is leaving Aquarius and having a little taste of what it's going to be like in the sign of Pisces. And that's on the 14th. But by the 20th of June, just a leap ahead, Jupiter will go retrograde, but he will stay in Pisces until the end of July. Now, what can we expect from Jupiter in Pisces? Well, I think this gives a much needed boost to our energies and how we connect with the divine, how we connect with that which is so much greater than ourselves. So Jupiter here is showing us over the next few weeks that there's so much more to life than what we just see, feel, hear, and touch. I think it gives us a chance to recognize that we all have our own individual divine path, and our divine path is unique to us. And if we can get out of the way of our often limited psychological way of thinking, then it becomes easier to align once more with that personal grand plan that the divine mind has for us. So it's very much, I've often used this phrase about getting out of our own way. And I think with Jupiter in Pisces, there's a sense of that. Now, this month, I'm not going to talk a lot about the new moon, which is in Taurus on the 11th of May, or the full moon, which is a total lunar eclipse in Sagittarius on the 26th, because I'm going to talk about more about these lunar events in my live broadcasts. And this month also, I'm going to do things slightly differently, because the new moon video, I'm going to stream live on Facebook a few days earlier. It'll be on YouTube the next day, because it's been said to me that people would like to know about these energies leading up to the new moon, so they have a little bit more sense of the areas they want to focus their energies on for any manifestation they want to do. The full moon total lunar eclipse in Sagittarius will actually be on the day. I think that's a nice way to do it, especially once I can get outside again and we can actually have visuals of the full moon. And that will be, anyway, that's at the end of the month on the 26th. But now I'm going to move on to your individual signs. And as I said, they are all time stamped in the description box underneath the video. Thank you for joining me today. I'd love it if you could subscribe to my channel if you've not already. Also, if you'd like to have the one-to-one Astro coaching session with me, my website is in the description box. And as I said, it would be super helpful if you could leave a comment to say if you like my new format. And also, don't forget my special offer for the month of May for a quick 20-minute chat. Okay, thank you for joining me for this part of the video. And now, with no further ado, on to your individual signs. Hi Aries. This month, as I said in the overview, I'm doing things with a slightly different format. So I'm going to be looking at your mind, how the current astrological energies are affecting you psychologically. Then we're going to be looking at how the current astrological energies are either helping or not helping you physically, your soul, the inner workings of yourself, of your inner self, and then the challenges that you might face this month, and also, of course, the opportunities. So let's have a look at your mind first and the workings of your mind, your thinking. I have a feeling there are situations in your life that you might be overthinking at the moment. And as you know, this does not serve one well when we overthink a situation, because we see all sorts of things that probably aren't there at all. So it may be a time psychologically to just take a step back and just look at the situation with a different eye. Sometimes we have to have that kind of eagle sight where we fly up and see the bigger picture from a distance. I always find, you know, in the old days when we used to go on aeroplanes, it was like once you get up there above the clouds and look down at the earth, which is so tiny in terms of the sort of the villages and the towns and the roads and the rivers. And somehow, for me, I used to find that gave me that distance on perhaps what was concerning me in my life. So maybe you need to sort of metaphorically think you're up above the clouds and just look at everything, you know, in that bigger picture sense. So this leads us into the body, because I feel if you've been doing a lot of kind of mental work at the moment and overthinking situations, then you may not be giving enough attention to your physical needs. So I think that that's what you need to do this month for your body. Maybe have a more conscious way of exercising, but within that, pace yourself. And, you know, because as a Mars-oriented sign, you can tend to go for it and then overextend yourself. So pace yourself. We're in Taurus season, which is about slowly pace yourself. Now, your soul. I think with whatever's going on in your life at the moment, it's been hard for you to really listen to what your inner self is telling you. And you need to, again, with what I've said for the mind and the overthinking, take a step back and actually just try and listen to what that inner part of you is trying to tell you. The challenges this month, I feel, could be around financial problems or bills that need to be paid. So I just feel you need to make sure you keep the brakes on your finances. There's an urge, I think, when we've got other issues going on, to go out and do a bit of retail therapy. And this really is saying, just keep the brakes on, and then you'll be prepared for any unexpected twists and turns that can come with your finances. And the opportunities for you this month, if we go back to what's going on in your soul, in your inner self, this month, Jupiter is going to dip its toes into your 12th house of Pisces. This is going to really super help you to see things bigger, to connect once more with that part of us that is greater than ourselves, so that you can find the solutions to the problems and the difficulties and the situations in your life that you really need. So you're going to get a taste of that when Jupiter moves into your sign. So trust that and go with it. Thank you, Aries. Okay, Taurus. Psychologically, sometimes, Taurus, you can ruminate. And you may not say anything to anyone about what it is you're ruminating about, but I think up here you can get quite kind of like, are they doing better than me? So what I'm saying is there's a competitive edge to you, which really doesn't serve you well. And I think this comes from a sense of not strong enough yet, not full enough sense of self and self-esteem and what you are good at. So I think actually you need to give yourself a bit of slack, Taurus. You have got the planet Uranus, that I sometimes refer to as the proverbial bull in the china shop, in your sign at the moment. That's really going to be stirring things up. So try and just take a step back, recognize what you've achieved. And actually, I think you could congratulate yourself, Taurus. Now, your body. Now, we know Taurus is not best suited to athletic kind of adventures and hiking up mountains, but I really feel that with the stuck energies that you might be experiencing at the moment, that a good walk or something that just gets you out there would really, really help you physically to shift these blocked energies. Let's look at your soul. So I think what you need at the moment, Taurus, is some positive interaction with like-minded people. I think that will really serve you well, because sometimes when we just keep going over things in our own mind, we're not getting to the point where we can actually just move beyond that. So try and find those like-minded people that are in your life. They're there somewhere. Have those quality discussions with them, and you'll find those energies will shift. Your challenges this month are to just be aware that sometimes you can be inflexible, where your ideas about how your career should move forward. And so this lack of flexibility can put the brakes on. So in a sense, you need to put the brakes on in a flexible way, so that you actually turn this into opportunities. So that takes me neatly into opportunities, which is if you can change your attitude and see the bigger picture of what you're doing with your career and your sort of your public image, your role in the world, how people see you, what they see you do. If they think of you, what do they think? Who do they think you represent? And with that, I think you'll see the bigger picture, and that's going to bring some interesting opportunities to you, Taurus. Okay, thank you, Taurus. So let's move on to Gemini. Gemini, you are a sign that thinks deeply. But I do feel this month you need to make sure that your thinking and the ideas that you have are grounded in some kind of reality. If you're able to do that, then I think an idea you've had can be successfully revived. It might have had to be put on the back burner because of the circumstances we find ourselves in. So just keep that in the forefront of your mind. Try and keep your thinking realistic. That's, I think, always the best way to view it, and what is realistically achievable at the moment. Your body. I think you need to make exercise a little bit more fun. You can interpret that whatever way you want, Gemini. But I do feel that participating with others in exercise activities, like, being part of a team, or playing tennis, or playing golf, or just something that has that competitive edge, I think helps you actually benefit on a much broader way for your body with that kind of exercise. Now, your soul, you're not always good, Gemini, at listening to the inner workings of your mind or your soul. But I just feel that if you can sense that there is something in your subconscious that is just nudging you to wake up about something, you'll know what that is, then don't ignore it. Whatever our intuition and gut feeling tells us is always timely. So let's look at the challenges for you this month, Gemini. Well, I think for you more than some of the other signs, with the restrictions that we've had to do, you felt a little bit like you're on a never-ending hamster wheel, and it's just, you just can't get off it. And I think, as I say, this links in a little bit with the body and finding different ways to move your body that involves a little bit of more interaction, whether it's competitive or, you know, it's like you could even be creative, dance routine, learn something, watch one of these YouTube videos that teaches you how to do an interesting, different kind of exercise or dance. Tai Chi. Now that would be really good for you. Something that involves the mind and the soul with the body. So the opportunities for you, I think there actually might be some lucky breaks, and that will quite suddenly actually get you off that hamster wheel for a while. So it's not all difficult, it's not all challenges this month. I do feel that there is a little bit of a luck element, and that's because we've got this Jupiter dipping its toes in Pisces, and that's going to be like well, it's going to really lift all of us, I think, whatever sign we're under. Okay, thank you, Gemini. Hi, Cancer. Your mind. Well, I suspect sometimes I don't think you talk a lot about what really worries you. I think you save that for your very, very closest confidants. But I have a feeling you've been thinking around something to do with joint finances with you and a partner, or investments, and you might get a sort of quite a surprising idea about it, and it'll make you feel that this is something you could actually really commit to. So only you can know what that is, but it's some idea you've got about basically how to bring in more cash. So trust it. Now, your body, Cancer. Remember, Cancer, your sign is the crab. So you have this lovely kind of beautiful golden armor, and inside there's the squishy bit. And this is the bit that people don't often see, because the squishy bit inside is your sensitive part, your sensitive side that is terribly sensitive and can be so easily damaged. So what I felt with your body this month is that if there's a kind of, it's literally like rumblings in your stomach, but that's a metaphor. If there's something that you're not comfortable about, if your body is giving you signals, don't stay bravely within your suit of golden armor. Take them seriously, do something about it, and check them out. So for you this month, your soul, Cancer, I think you're going to be finding it much easier to feel connected with that part of us that is higher. It's like your higher self, you're certainly your inner self, with that divine mind. I think that's going to be easier in whatever way you connect. And I try and stay as neutral as I can with these talks, because it's whether you find it on a particular religious journey, whichever religion it is that you strongly resonate with, or it may be more the sort of more new kind of spiritual journey that you follow, that you adhere to. So whichever way it is for you to connect with, as I call it, that divine source, that divine mind, that's going to really help you this month. And it will give you it'll give you a boost. And I think it's going to help it make it easier for you to really go with the flow of things. The challenges are that unexpected developments could turn out to be a blessing in disguise. So if something is delaying you, if something comes up and goes, no, we're not going down here, then actually just go, okay, right, thank you, divine mind. You're giving me a heads up that that's not the way to go. Not yet. Now let's look at the opportunities. So I think because you're going to have this opportunity through Jupiter to connect with this much higher self, it's going to help you see the bigger picture. So it's actually going to enhance everything that you're working on. And I have a feeling it'll help you. It really does feel like you're tuning into a much higher vibration, and where things had not kind of crystallized before, they're suddenly going to make total sense. Leo. Sometimes you're too fixed. You are a fixed sign, and you get too fixed in your mind about your way of doing things. Allow different ideas, input perhaps from other people, to make you look at things in a different way. Don't try and do it all yourself, Leo. Actually allow others to help you. So your body, I think, if you've been walking around the block for the last year, metaphorically speaking, because there's nothing else that one can do, you're really getting very bored with that. And I think you've just got to find something different to shift the energy in your body. So I really highly recommend, in fact, I recommend this for all the signs, loud music, dance and sing. I'm sure a lot of you are doing that already. But Leo, you are creative. So, you know, stand in front of the mirror, get the microphone and, you know, karaoke, whatever. Do something that really expresses the creative side of you, Leo, and your body will just benefit so much from that. So your soul this month, I really feel the soul is drawing people and situations that serve you best into your life. And you need to trust that. So challenges for you this month. I think your career path is going to take some quite unexpected twists and turns. I think you've got to be careful that because things are happening with your sort of public image or your public profile that work things, you know, your career ideas are kind of falling into place, that you don't alienate people that have actually been there to help you all along. Because I think sometimes even our really close partnerships, our sort of nearest and dearest, can sometimes feel a little bit left out in the cold as you become obsessed with this idea you've got. You know, you think of the lion that, you know, think of a domestic cat, how it will sit for hours because it's sure a mouse is behind that cupboard. And in a sense, you're sitting for hours, you know, fixed on making something work and something happen. So just bear that in mind. Opportunities. There might be some opportunities to for a different way of making money. Just maybe it's a short thing, but it looks like an interesting opportunity. And if it comes your way, you know what? I'd take it. Okay, so now we move on to Virgo. For you, Virgo, with your mind, I think you're having a lot of really, really good good thoughts at the moment. I think they're flowing in the right direction, and you're thinking, it's like you shifted, something has shifted, and it's really taking you in the right direction. So that's probably quite a relief for you, Virgo. But your body, I think over quite a long period of time, you might have been holding a lot of emotion in your body. You know, just check yourself out. Have you got, you know, shoulder pain, neck pain, lower back pain? And if you can look at what these feelings might be, the feelings in your body, what they might be representing psychologically to link in the mind, then, and you attend to what's going on in the body simultaneously with what's going on in the mind, then I really think you'll notice a big release and letting go. This month for you, with your soul and your inner self, you need to have some good quality communication with you. Go within. Sometimes we need to write it down. Because when we write things down, it's like if there's been something that's been niggling you about someone in your life that is important to you, it might even be someone who is no longer here. It could be somebody who has passed. But why not write a letter to them? It's not a letter that will ever get posted, but it's writing things down. You know, we've lost the ability to write things down. Since all our technology has taken over, actually pen to paper and dear mum, dear dad, you know, I miss you so much, and da-da-da-da-da-da. Whatever it is that is in your heart that you want to say to somebody that's dear to you. It can be somebody living as well. But it's just quite cathartic. It gets it out and it helps us sort it out. So this kind of communication being urged by your inner self will really promote that much needed soul growth. Now, with the challenges this month, you've got to be prepared that events at a distance might upset your routine. Now, that could be with respect to the fact that, you know, things are beginning to open up. People are expecting to perhaps get on planes and fly off across the country and across the world. And there could still be a lot of disruptions. And it's I think you're so, you know, you really want to get out there and do some different things, as do all of us, of course. And it might just frustrate you more than others. So don't take it personally, Virgo. Because there are some lovely opportunities this month. There's wonderful opportunities for meeting someone new this month, especially if you're single. If you're in a partnership, then I think you and your partner are going to feel as if you have a bit more freedom and opportunities to actually have more fun together. Libra. So, your mind. There's something around finance this month that you might be ruminating over. And if your thinking stays inflexible around it, which is not like you, because normally you're able to, you know, get a balance and see both sides, but it might be that there's something this month that is just making you put the brakes on. But play with other possibilities. And then I think mentally you'll find that the solutions that work best for you. So your body. Well, I think like all of us, you're running out of ways to find interesting ways to exercise. So it is quite tough, Libra. You know, as you're Libra and you like balance, the image that just came into my mind was sitting on a seesaw, but I don't think we have those around anymore, but it could be quite fun. But actually, what you probably need to do is play games as ways of exercise that bring in the mind and also bring in the body, so that there's a bit of competition. So games like tennis and badminton, squash, you know, these kind of things are probably going to be much more fun for you. So that also, you know, we're in Taurus season. If you have a garden, or you have access to a plot of land or somewhere, do a bit of gardening. It's really good for the soul. It's good for the garden too. Your soul. It's not your favourite pastime to go within and commune with your inner self. But I think if you actually stop, pause, maybe just, you know, try and reconnect or connect with that divine mind, you'll be glad you did, and you might actually see things in a slightly different way. So try that. The challenges for you this month, Libra. If you're going to be planning long distance travel, try and keep a realistic outlook. I mean, I don't think I have to tell you that in terms of what's been going on in the world this year and last year. But because of the possible restrictions and changes, sudden changes, you might find that unexpected, unwelcome expenses pop up as well. So just be aware of that. Whereas the opportunities, well, actually, there's still an opportunity to grab some fun this month. But as with everybody, we have to pace ourselves. So you are a sign of balance. So try and keep that balance of work and play. But please, you know, play is important. So enjoy a bit of play too. Thank you, Libra. Okay, Scorpio. Scorpio, with your mind, it feels as if there's a lot of 3 a.m. ruminating going on and overthinking of situations. I think the solution to this is that you need to talk to certain people and clear the air. And once you've done that, your sleep will get better, and you'll be just really glad that you bit the bullet and did that. Now, your body, Scorpio, this month, it's important not to neglect any physical ailments that are around, that you've currently got, that might be flaring up. Nip them in the bud. Don't let them get out of control. Your soul, Scorpio, you know, it's not like you to not follow the urgings of your inner self. But I think your mind might be getting in the way at the moment, because you know what you want, but actually your soul is saying, not so sure, I think we need to take you off in this direction. So try and take a step back and listen harder to what your inner self is saying, because remember, it does know better than you. Now, the challenges for you this month, Scorpio. Try not to take your eye off the ball with joint finances, because we've got Mercury going retrograde towards the end of this month, and it might mean you've got to go back all over it again and redo it. So keep focused on your budget and where you're sort of, how you're sorting out that financial side of your domestic living. Now, the opportunities are actually good for you this month, because, well, it's going to be very exciting for quite a few years, because, of course, you've got Uranus, my bull in the china shop, in your opposite sign of Taurus. And he will certainly be bringing some unexpected twists and turns to relationships. But also, because of the energies this month in the opposite sign of yours for Taurus, there's possibilities of a new romance. Okay, so let's move on to Sagittarius. Your mind. This month, Sagittarius, you need to really keep a bit of a rein on your thinking. Keep things ordered and realistic. That will serve you best this month to cope with unexpected, because I think there will be unexpected routine disruptions. So your working life, your everyday routine could get some unexpected disruptions. Your body, I think like all of us, you've probably gained a few extra kilos or pounds through the lockdown winter, let alone the lockdown nearly 18 months. And this month, I think, gives you an opportunity to perhaps be a little bit more focused on how you can shift some of those pounds and kilos. So I suspect that, you know, with the world opening up a bit more, you'll be able to get out there and do the sports that you really love doing. So let's have a look at your soul, Sagittarius. Now, it is difficult for you sometimes to connect with that deep inner you. You don't actually talk about it much and you don't show it to people, but I think you do go within. But I think it's also quite hard for you sometimes to trust what you know or what your inner knowing tells you. But don't give up on that, because actually I think it's a really valuable part of your life that can enrich it for you in a big way. So your challenges this month, this really goes back to what I was saying about routines getting disrupted. There could be routines that will get disrupted, or if you've made appointments, say you've made medical appointments, they get delayed or just don't happen. But sometimes that can be a blessing, because maybe you find a doctor that is actually the right one for you, whereas perhaps the one you did want to go to wouldn't actually have been the best for the particular problem that you've got. So maybe just see every delay as a blessing. The opportunities for you are around your home life and family. So what you'd really benefit from is, I think, getting everyone involved and doing a massive spring clean. It's very good for the mind, body and soul. And even rearranging the furniture, that can be, you know, redecorating. All these kind of things can really give us a boost and help us feel much more optimistic about the future. So that's all for you for this month, Sagittarius. And now I shall move on to Capricorn. Well, your thinking this month, Capricorn, is going to get sharper. Now, that can't be a bad thing, but you're always quite sharp with your thinking anyway. It's also going to be more imaginative. You really are going to be thinking round the corner and outside the box and seeing different ways that you can approach things. But with your body, you need to be mindful of your diet this month. Don't take your eye off the ball, because there's a possibility there could be a little bit of gaining of kilos that other signs are working on taking off at the moment. So just keep that somewhere up here in your mind. Okay, so your soul. Some of you Capricorns still find it quite hard to listen to that part of yourself, but there are others, and probably it depends on your ascendant or moon sign, that are more able to listen to the whisperings of the soul. If you're one of the sort of Capricorns that finds that quite hard, then I really urge you to sit, to kind of meditate, to go within. And meditation doesn't have to be sort of, you know, sitting cross-legged on the floor. It can be sitting on a bench looking at a lake with ducks playing. It can be sitting, you know, if you live by the sea or by a river, looking at the water flowing, at the water moving. But all these things can get you to just connect more with your soul. And I really think that's important for you. Now, the challenges for you this month, Capricorn. I think there's a bit of having to weigh things up. It's like what you value most as opposed to what you might miss out on in terms of fun. I think it's a time for stoicism with whatever that means for you. Because don't forget, everything comes at a price. The opportunities, this more feels to do with work and working routines and colleagues. I think you'll have some really constructive discussions with them, which will help you see a clearer way forward to structuring the way you work. If you're one of the people now who will be working more from home or just going into the office every now and then you're going to find a way of working that which is really going to feel that it works well for you. So that's great for you. Aquarius, your mind. This kind of brings in the soul as well, because it feels as if you will have some insight that has been prompted by your soul. Quite valuable insight. And pay attention to it and act on it. Think logically how this can work, because I think you'll be really glad that you did. Right, so your body, Aquarius. Well, some of us go for 5-mile hikes because we think, oh, I've got to get fit. And then we don't do anything for another week because every muscle aches. So for you, Aquarius, I'm suggesting daily exercise routines of just 5 minutes are absolutely perfect, and they're better than not at all. So really the message for your body is don't overwhelm yourself with unrealistic exercise goals. Your soul. This was an interesting one when I was thinking about it, because have you been having past life thoughts or strange dreams that connect you with a person of, you in a completely different life? If you are interested or are having these experiences around potential past lives, this would be a really good time to investigate it. So have a check of that. So your challenges this month. Well, you might be feeling a bit restricted by home and family life. But I think you have to think about, if you're projecting onto others that they are restricting you, just take a step back. And is it actually a projection? So is it actually you thinking they're restricting you, where in fact you're the one that's restricting you? Because sometimes we do that and we don't own these things, and it's everybody else's problem or fault and not ours. But the opportunities are discussions around finance, and good discussions around finance, so that a lucky opportunity or a lucky break will actually see your piggy bank overflowing. So that's a nice way to end the month for you, Aquarius. Hi, Pisces. So this month for you, Pisces, with your thinking, you need grounded, practical, well-researched thinking. And if you do that, which is not always how Pisces operates, but if you do that, it will really serve you well. Now, your body, I wonder whether you're holding financial fears in your body. I've said this to one of the other signs because, you know, we hold a lot of emotion in our bodies. And there may be quite simple ways to not only help with your daily budget, but also paradoxically or simultaneously that will release something, you know, in your body. It's like we go through an old coat pocket and suddenly find, you know, 20 euros. We think, oh gosh, how wonderful. I've got 20 euros more than I thought I had. So I just say that because maybe just tweaking your daily budget might help with that. Now, your soul. I think you've been going through a few times over the last couple of months where it's felt like the dark night of the soul. And remember, often the light comes, or the answer comes, when we are in those darkest places and we've kind of lost all hope. The one thing that sustains us in those dark places is faith. If we have faith that a divine power or a divine mind has our back, then that will help you through the darkest of places. And I think that things are turning for you, the tide is turning, and the light is going to be shining in. And you're going to feel actually a lot better, Pisces. Especially, and I hadn't mentioned this yet, because of course we've got Jupiter is going to be dipping its toes into your sign. So I think that's really going to give you a boost and feel a sense of freedom and opportunity, and just much better about the way things are going forward. So the challenges really are the sensible budgeting. So if you can keep your budgeting sensible and not rush out with this Jupiterian whoosh that will come into Pisces and go on retail therapy, try and keep that, to the minimum. Don't go mad. And the opportunities for you this month are, because you've got this lovely energy from Jupiter coming into your first house, make the most of it, but you can do it in ways that don't have to cost you money. Join an exercise class, join a dance class, do swimming aerobics, do something that will really make you feel good, mind, body and soul. Thank you, Pisces. And if there are still some of you watching because you've watched all the signs, thank you so much. I think it's quite fun sometimes to see what our friends might be up to. In the meantime, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.